Thank you, Bob Morgenthau in absentia. Thank you, Fania Heller in absentia. Thank you, Bruce, for your leadership. Thank you, George, for your vision. Thank you, Michael, for your professionalism. I am so very, very lucky. After my life's journey from a hidden child in Vilna to 50 years at the Anti-Defamation League, to find myself today in this so very, very special place. Who could have imagined or believed 70 years ago or 50 years ago or 20 years ago when this museum was developed, when it opened its doors? Who could have then imagined how significant, how relevant, how absolutely necessary, and almost its presence and its need would be a moral imperative to teach and reteach the lessons of never again, and yes, never, never to forget. How instructive history would be to us today, here in New York City, in Washington, in Jerusalem, and globally. Who would have believed that anti-Semitism, the catalyst, the perverse rationale for the final solution, would move in our lifetime from a fact of history to a current event? And so, this museum has determined not only to teach the lessons of the Shoah, but also the lessons of the mother of all prejudices, anti-Semitism. And we will build a permanent exhibit to anti-Semitism in this magnificent place. Many, many years ago, I read a quote from an anonymous survivor who in his memoirs struggled with how was it that Hitler was so successful. And he wrote 3 simple sentences. And he said Hitler succeeded because first they came to the Jews and they said, "You cannot live amongst us as Jews." And there were the Inquisitions. And then several hundred years later, others came and shortened that phrase to say, "You cannot live amongst us." And we experienced a history of expulsions. And only then came Hitler, and because of the antecedents, because of the precedent, he was able to shorten that sentence even more. You cannot live. And so, because anti-Semitism is so real and virulent today, that this museum must reach back further into history, to centuries before the Holocaust, to understand where the hatred of the Jewish people came from, how it spreads, and why. Why is it once more again on the rise? And so, as you've heard, and as I'm saying to you now, through the new center, the study of anti-Semitism, the museum will become the first Holocaust museum anywhere in the world to integrate a permanent exhibition on the history of anti-Semitism. Tonight, we all gathered to mark 2 things: 20 years of the Museum on the Holocaust in New York City, but also to launch a very special exhibit which illustrates the links, the bonds, the ties between the state of Israel, the state of the Jewish people, the diaspora, our ties to history, to the Shoah. And we are especially pleased tonight that to cement and to show and to illustrate this ties, the bonds between Israel and the Jewish people in our history, we have the Consul General of the State of Israel in New York and beyond, Ambassador Danny Dayan.